It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello, all.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are we doing?
That is a very dangerous question.
I'm getting there.
I'm
taking a while to get there.
Not quite dead yet.
I think I've passed it along.
I feel happy.
Everybody have my happiness.
So, what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
Oh, man. I guess as you can tell, I'm still trying to recoup here.
No.
I've spent a lot of time sleeping.
So much so that last week when we were getting ready to record, she sent us a message and says, I've been sick for a few days, and we were like, Liz, you've been sick for a month.
For a month, at least. I feel like I've been sick since Christmas. When the dog got sick. We probably have the same thing.
It's possible. Just passing it back and forth.
Right, But in this happy Nyquil days I've been in, I was flipping channels, and I accidentally came across a show that I thought was only going to be like maybe an hour documentary, but no, it was a 4-part documentary.
Oh, hey, cool.
4 hours long, and I just so happened to catch it on the first episode. So
Yay.
I watched, yeah, it was kind of an icky one. I watched the Quiet on the Set. I'm sure that everybody who has social media has heard about this movie. I didn't until I watched it, but lucky me, I guess I caught it when they were airing the 4th episode because they played it all together. So I had not heard anything about this.
I still haven't.
Oh man, it's the dirty side of Nickelodeon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and some of this, Drake Bell's story will absolutely break your heart. I don't know if it was so much listening to his story or his dad giving his side of the story, and it was like, Jesus Christ. I don't understand how a man has 16 charges of sexual abuse on him. Half of Hollywood stands up and writes letters of encouragement for him, saying he must have been tempted by a 15-year-old, but he only goes to jail for 16 months. Now, later on, this same teenager gets caught sending inappropriate text messages to a girl that lied about her age and winds up getting 2 years probation on that. So it's kind of like, how fucked up is that? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I'd like to think we live in different times today, but we don't.
They're different.
Yeah, I think a lot of this, and as a parent now, my kids were the age group that all these shows were being made for. I feel kind of icky because I know as a parent, of course I was watching what they're watching. I think everybody who's listened to our podcast knows I keep up a lot with children's programming, just to, what's going on with it, what's new. I I like totally missed a lot of this, I felt that some of the jokes were not age appropriate, but you have things like Shrek who makes inappropriate jokes, and it's funny because the kids don't get it, but the parents who are watching do. And I guess while I was watching this documentary, it finally hit to me, what's different about this is a kid show with kid actors saying these inappropriate jokes, and just listening to some of it. First, being a mother, I want to know, where the hell was your mom? I would have had a boot so far up this director's ass, he'd still be walking with a limp tasting my shoe, One parent, I won't mention names because, like I said, I have never been in this position with my child, so it's easy for me to sit back and say what I would do as a parent. But if a grown man sent my daughter a dick pic, we're going to have some problems. You're going to have to answer to the cops why you have my daughter's phone number to begin with. But she didn't say anything because she didn't want to rock the boat. So instead of saying something, she decided to take her daughter off the TV show and separate the two. Okay, well, that's all fine and good, but then this man goes on to sexually abuse another child. So maybe if you would have spoke up, you could have saved another child. I mean, just logic there. But I said,
it's hard to, I mean, we probably shouldn't go down this rabbit hole, but it's hard to make the distinction between standing up and calling things out like that when there's a good chance that it could actually ruin your kid's life. In any of several ways, in multiple of several ways. I mean, how many years of therapy does it take, to deal with that?
Well, so any money that you would get from not saying anything, wouldn't you spend on therapy later? I mean, to me, I wouldn't care how much my child is making if a grown man is sending you pictures like that. No. I will happily sit in prison with a smile on my face. I mean, there's no question. I couldn't understand some of the parents' logic behind this. And it's like, well, he was the only one working. Whoa, back the fuck up. Your kid was supporting your family? What weird world is that?
That's a little unhealthy to start with, yeah.
Well, so not only do these kids have the pressure of acting in an adult world, now I've got adult problems like, how am I going to pay my parents' bills? So I could understand the kids not saying anything at that point because they had a lot riding on that, And by this guy normalizing these sexual behaviors, it became normal to them. They felt weird because it wasn't normal to them, and that's exactly how predators work. So Nickelodeon needs to answer a lot of questions, because it wasn't just one child on one show. It was numerous children on all this man's shows. So it's kind of...
Yeah, be careful asking for morality from a corporation. I mean, sometimes you'll get it, but mostly no. Mostly it's all about the money.
Like I said, it was very eye-opening. Like I said, it left you very icky. Drake Bell came in. Like I said, there's 4 episodes. I think they brought him in at the 2nd, and all of the 3rd episode is pretty much his story. And when he starts talking about the people who wrote letters for him, this pedophile, I don't know how else to say it. It was people who I had respected. James Marsden was one of them. Ryder Frieder, the guy from Saved by the Bell. It was just so many people that you're like, Jesus Christ, And I I can understand because a lot of them, not a lot of them, two of them have come out now and said, had we have known what they were asking us to write, we wouldn't have wrote it. But there was letters from people like Joanne Kern who said that if he did it, he was tempted by a 15-year-old. So yeah, let's go ahead and shift all that blame onto the victim because a grown man couldn't keep his pickle in his pants, you know. I only say pickle because he was the pickle man. How sick is that? He was the pickle man on some of these shows, you know. And it's just it's upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course kind of a weird twist because on this whole show, I mean, like I said, it's all over the internet. Dan Schneider, the director of these shows, asshole, total toxic asshole. He's the one who wrote a lot of these jokes. He made a lot of people feel really bad and he abused his power. I'm not giving him a slide on anything. But when it came to Drake's story, Drake was like, he's the only one who knew. Because, you know, since Drake was such a young child, they immediately kept this quiet, of course, for his safety. He was a minor. And so Nickelodeon's now saying they didn't know who it was. Bullshit. Bullshit. It was probably your lawyer that made this keep quiet, you know. But even after you find out, Dan Schneider found out that this has happened and he immediately kicked into, how can I help you? Sat down with his mom, wrote a letter for her to read to the judge for victim impact and everything else. It was a very nice statement. And they said when it came to Drake's turn to address the judge, he says, I had nothing to say about the man. He says, instead, when he walked into the courtroom that day, it was just him, his mom, and his sister on his side. On Brian Peck's side was full, no setting room whatsoever. So he said, he turned to them and he said, you know, when you think of this man, I'm sure you'll have a lot of happy memories and shows he's worked on and ways that he kept, you know, your kid in work. But when I look at this man, I will only remember how he violated me and that you all sat here and supported him. Had I heard a 15-year-old child tell me that, I would no longer be sitting on that side of the room. You know what I'm saying? I no. How can you support that? But, okay, years later, after it's come out, it's Drake Bell. Now you have 41 people who wrote letters. Can't you now go, oh, fuck, man, had I have known that this is what happened, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry I supported him. I didn't know the whole story, but so far none of them have. So it's kind of like you're still supporting a pedophile, you know. And like I said, these are names that I really looked up to. Alan Thicke wrote a letter. Joanne Kern wrote a letter for him because apparently he worked on Full House. Well, makes me wonder about Leonardo DiCaprio. This was his speech coach.
That wasn't the name
Wasn't
of
it?
that show.
I thought it was Full House.
No.
Full House
was
is
the other
with
one.
John Stamos.
Growing Pains.
Growing Pains, that's the one.
Growing Pains, yeah. So it's
Well,
kind
Alan
of
Thicke
like,
is burning in hell anyway, so that, you know,
yeah.
that's okay.
I hope it burns a little hotter after they release this. But, you know, and one of the other things I didn't understand, after this man goes to court and they dropped, I think they got him on 2 counts of sexual assault and dropped some of the others. Because that's the way it usually happens. They go for the 2 they know they can get you on. But there were 16 original charges. 16 original charges on him. So after he goes and spends his time, you would think this man will never work with children again, right? Right? You would hope, right? No. He goes and gets a job at fucking Disney. How stupid can you be? I mean, does this guy just fart gold bricks or what? I mean, you have a pedophile, not just a sexual predator, a pedophile. Let me put him in charge of some kids over here on Sweet Life. That's where he went and worked after all of this.
Wow.
And then Disney, of course, now is like, oh, well, we distanced ourselves after he did all your shows. You know, do you not run background checks? I've heard of several people getting fired from Disney just by them looking over their Twitter. You didn't do a background check on this guy? I mean, what the hell is wrong with you people?
It can't have been that hard.
Yeah,
it's easy to gloss over things when you're successful.
Right, when there's a lot of money involved.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and one of the people had asked him, what's this about? And he's like, it was a misunderstanding, and it's handled.
In other words, he did the
a
time.
Misunderstanding, you know? And but see, that's part of the bad thing. I believe we need to protect victims at all cost. At all cost. I mean, especially minors. I understand the reason for sealing these records and not letting people know, because here's a now 16-year-old child who has to figure all this shit out and live, you know. Definitely took him more than 16 months to do that. But when we do this, we're kind of sealing what the person did. Had Disney known there was 16 counts against him, maybe they would have held off. But they're looking at a record that's sealed. They can only see the outcome of that. And the only word they can go by is a pedophile who's like, oh, it was a misunderstanding. It's handled. Well, okay, because I don't have a lot to go on here. You know, I don't know. Me, myself, I'd be like, sexual predator? No, not in my company. But, you know, I guess in my little happy world I want to live in, I would like to think if they knew all of what he did, he wouldn't have gotten a job, you know. So
They could have found out.
They could have, but not all of it.
It's not outside the realm of possibility that they knew. I mean, honestly, it's possible.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they did.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know,
exactly.
but they could have.
Yeah.
And Drake had said, you know, when they kept his name quiet, he had just started. As a matter of fact, they hadn't even started filming yet for Drake and Josh. And he said people had, you know, there was rumors and people had an idea because they knew that Brian was one of their coaches, that he had worked with them, and people had seen what a creep he was to Drake on the set of All That. Now, here's another red flag. You have parents now saying they saw red flags because of the creep he was being on set. Why the fuck didn't you say something then? Okay, I understand the child. They're a child. They don't know right from wrong. They were being taught that wrong was right. You know, I can understand them. But my God, you're an adult. You know, what happened? See something, say something. You know, so I'm kind of pissed at all the parents in this story. I don't think maybe that wasn't the reaction they were going for. But I am so pissed at all the parents in these stories. You cared more about fame and money than
Definitely
you did your child's protection. You know, it's And then you wonder why kids don't say anything. Well, hell, my parents knew, and they're dropping me off on set every fucking day. You know, who are they going to say something to? So I think a lot of people failed these kids. And like I said, to me as a parent, I'm upset that I didn't catch some of this. I should have caught some of this because
From what?
My kids were watching this. The jokes, he had Ariana Grande. Of course, she was on Sam and Cat at the time. This was one of his shows. He had her milking a potato that was very phallic looking, and she's squeezing it, going, "Give me the juice, give me the juice." How is that appropriate for a child? They had another one where he had her lay backwards on a bed, and she's like, I wonder if you can drink water upside down. I'm so thirsty, and started pouring water all over herself. This is a child. And then we wonder why these child actors, Britney Spears, Miley Ray Cyrus, Demi Lovato, Drake Bell, why they all go freaking crazy after the fame ends. Because look at all the shit they had to endure to get that, you know? It's a child's mind finally going, whoa, this was fucked up what they did to me. You know, they made it seem normal. And this isn't normal. This is fucked up what they did to me. So I kind of give a little bit more leniency. I wish that out of all of this, that Amanda Bynes would come forward with her story. It's her story to tell. There's no rush whenever she's ready, because Homegirl's had a lot of problems. And after hearing some of this, I can see why she's had problems. I think she definitely needs some grace extended to her, because she has not been able to tell her story. And she was the closest to this guy, had an abortion at the age of 13. So there's a lot to her story that has not been told. And like I said, I pray that one day she finds the safe place where she can tell her story, because she needs to get that out. It's hurt her long enough. It's destroyed her life. People are looking at her now like she's flipping lost her mind, and she has.
And maybe there's a good
it's
reason
not
for
her. Yep. This has been a cry for help that the media has branded her psychotic, because she doesn't fit the mold. You know, she's not acting prim and proper anymore. She's got to be crazy. You know, let's lock her up. Let's put a conservator over her. You know, it's sad. It's really sad. But like I said, if you want ick for about 4 hours, it was interesting. I will put a trigger warning out there. I myself was not ready to hear Drake's story. I probably cried the whole hour there with him. It's sad. And then when you think of all the people who failed that child, you know, it's sad. They have talked about doing a 5th part to this. Like I said, I think if there's more victims who need to get that out, you know, it's the whole reason I watch court cases and that kind of thing. I will listen to your story. I will hear what you have to say. You know, I am nobody in the world, but I will always be a safe spot for somebody to tell their story to, because I can sympathize with you. You know, it's, so I think they now that they've opened the door to Nickelodeon, I think they need to do one on Disney now. You know,
ouch. Good luck.
Yeah, this guy worked for them, so you know it's happened over there too. Some of the other, there's people like Hilary Duff. She was a Disney star. I think she has a different story than most child actors, but what she had different than the rest of them is she had a parent right there going, no, we're not doing this, you know, and that's what these kids need. We need to make that normal, that the parents can speak up, and that these sets aren't run like little concentration camps, you know. There's rules in place to protect children, and they need to be followed. But all through this documentary, you can see where the rules were bypassed, and that's where all this happened. So I don't know if we could make a law today that would protect them any more than the ones we already have. They just need to be enforced. They need to be I honestly think there needs to be an advocate on every set that if your parent is being a dumbass, let me speak up for you, because that was the problem in a lot of these, was the parents just not saying anything. Kids made to put things that look like dicks on their shoulders and stuff. They told a little black boy that his skin should be charcoal. I mean, where was the mom? I would have ripped somebody's hair out of their head had they told my child that. And they called one girl's mom and told her, hey, your daughter's gaining weight. We already have a fat one. She can't be the fat one too. Why is your daughter going to work the next day? Why are you allowing men to body shame your daughter at 13, 14 years old? That's when you tell them real quick where to go and what they can do when they get there. But none of these parents said anything. See, I would have been the parent they hated.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't have lasted 10 minutes.
They wouldn't have. I would have totally ruined it for my child. There was one parent who did start speaking up, and they replaced her kid the next season. So, I mean, it happens, but other than the racism that he was shown on the set, thank God he wasn't more of a victim, because his mom was like, oh, no, honey, this is fucked up. We're getting out of here. I don't care about the fame. You ain't paying my bills. This is what we're doing. But, so yeah. So it like I said, I think it's on HBO and Paramount Plus now. It is 4 parts. Yeah, it's pretty eye opening.
Oh, it's not on Nickelodeon?
Yeah, surprise, surprise.
Or Disney.
Well, you mentioned having an advocate. I would change that. It would need to be a third party.
Oh, 100%.
Advocate.
Yeah,
we're
not connected to either. Yeah.
Yes, it has to be someone who is unbiased.
Yeah, someone who's not someone who's not on the payroll of either the studio or the parents.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Exactly.
But what I think is sad is I think there wound up being 3 pedophiles on Nickelodeon sets. Brian Peck was just one of them. I think one of the other guys he wasn't an advocate, he was a liaison for the parents. And it's like, yeah, he didn't do a very good job, did he? He was the one sending naked pictures and keeping little girl panties and stuff. And I'm sorry, bullets are 10 cents. I'm saying, I just, I think I'm most mad at, that girl's name was Brandy. I'm mad at her mom, and I'm mad at Drake's mom. Drake's dad warned the mom, this guy is weird. I've told everybody he's weird. Don't you let him be alone with him. So from those instructions, let's have a 48-hour nighttime stay with this pervert. And then you wonder why your child is fucked up. Because the dad told you this guy was fucked up and you decided you knew best. She needs to go. I'm sorry if I sound cold-hearted or whatever, but I hope to this day she still feels very guilty about what her child went through because of her. And it is because of her. She was warned numerous times, and the money meant more. I'm sure that Drake, in his journey, it's been a hard one, has found a way to forgive her. I'm sure the public will get there eventually, but we ain't there yet, Especially, like I said, when you watch his dad and him break down, it was like, what the fuck is wrong with his mom? And it wasn't even his mom who caught on to this. It was his girlfriend's mom. Said it took her all of about 6 minutes to figure out what was going on and pulled him aside and was like, hey, you need to talk to someone. But his own mom didn't notice this was going on for months. I mean, not only that, this guy was a pen pal to John Wayne Gacy. Kept his letters at his nightstand and thought it would be cool to pull it out at a party and show everyone. No. You don't leave your children with pen pals of John Wayne Gacy. I mean, come on. Fame or no fame, you just don't do that. Jeez. It's like, yeah, you're probably one of the people who hired John Wayne Gacy for their birthday parties. It was crazy.
Anything else?
No, that's about it.
Humans are terrible. I keep telling you.
Yeah.
I keep telling y'all, and you just, eventually you're gonna believe me.
Your turn, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like as if there was any following that. Which is funny because I actually got nothing this week. Sadly, I don't know how the world has conspired to make it so that I have not completed anything in like 2 weeks. I keep getting distracted by other things.
Squirrel.
Yeah,
Squirrel.
it's been weird and bad, and I mean, I didn't like I was talking about before recording. I haven't even finished getting the new crown on my broken tooth yet. That's how screwed up my that stuff has been the last couple of weeks. So that was on a vacation, so that was fun. Yeah, I mean, a trip to the beach in the middle of March is a dodgy proposition. I'll just say that. Everything was nice about the trip except the weather. We'll put it that way. Walking on the beach loses something when you have to wear a jacket.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, I guess it's a good thing you spent some time editing the last episode.
that was an excuse to stay inside for a couple of hours. So yeah, it was not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't during the thunderstorms or anything, but still.
Probably not a good idea to do that. But yeah.
Not out in the thunderstorm anyway. Laptops don't do well with thunderstorms.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, as bad as it sounds, I was watching a movie to have something to talk about, and then I was like, oh wait, no, I have this other movie I'm supposed to be watching, so I'm halfway done with the one, and now I'm halfway done with the other, and there's a book I was reading that I haven't finished because of circumstances, and it's just been it's been a couple of weeks. So yeah, I mean, theoretically, I could have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about next week, but anyway, we'll see. I'll try. We're recording late this week for other reasons, and so I don't even know for sure that I'll have that much time to do that.
Well, next week's going to be kind of different anyway, so you won't have to have anything.
I know, it's good, because I apparently need a couple of weeks to get my shit together.
Not just you.
Nope, it is definitely not just me. It rarely ever is.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for that, Liz.
Anytime.
So, next.
Les.
Well, I've got something to post on the site we have. It's a young man who looks at crime, and he gives a breakdown of a case. Some of them are solved, some are not. But it is really interesting what he looks at. It could be a murder. It could be a fraud. It could be just bad timing. But these are really well done. writings about these crimes. And I hope that people will watch these. I got 2 of them lined up. The man's name is Ray William Johnson, and he does 5 minutes, maybe longer, mainly shorter, for the various crimes. One of them, and I did not find it, but one of them was concerning the young lady who was missing when she and her boyfriend went on a trip. I hope that you folks remember that one, because it was all in the news.
Yeah. I don't remember
And
the
then
name, but I do remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then when the police went to the boyfriend's house, his parents said, "Oh, well, he's off somewhere." So this did not help matters by any means. And of course, she was found dead, and he was found dead also, with a self-inflicted wound. So, I'm sorry?
I was about to say, is this the one where they were found like in the park in a nature park in like Minnesota or something like that? Where they had ties to Florida, or maybe reversed?
They had ties to Florida, but...
Or was it Wisconsin?
No, they were found in Utah.
Okay.
They were stopped by the police because they had been arguing.
Yeah,
and
I remember what you were talking about now, but I just couldn't remember what state they were eventually found. But yeah.
Sure. And his parents lived in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I think they both did. And it was such a shocking story. And it was definitely something to have the police look into, but they hadn't really joined the halves of the story. So that one, like I said, I did not find, but I have seen it there. And this guy is very good. He's quick-witted, and it makes a difference. You got to have somebody that will stand up and tell you a story, and that's exactly what Ray William Johnson does. So I'm going to recommend it, and I've been going through his library of shots, and they are all really good, really well done.
I think I watched one that you had posted. The girlfriend who was kidnapped and found out she was lying, and boy, she turned on everybody, didn't she?
Oh yeah, yeah. She
very
was not,
quickly.
She was not nice at all.
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently
Yeah.
now we got a second person who's into true crime on the show. Holy crap. We are not turning this into a true crime show, people.
Oh, shit.
I did my time with true crime, and it made me depressed, and I stopped, and I'm not going back. That was just listening to a podcast. That was one podcast. I went through, I don't know, a couple dozen episodes, and I'm like, oh my God, people are awful.
Yeah. So you definitely find out that people are assholes. And that most of the time it's not strangers who fuck you up.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
just
no.
saying.
Strangers, no. Right. Strangers don't have as much opportunity.
Yeah.
It's people you know.
Hmm. For me, this kind of happened by accident. You might remember last episode we briefly got on Andy Griffith, and Les has been watching episodes of Matlock, and I had mentioned that there is a channel on Pluto that's all they show. This is a channel that's just all Matlock stuff. I found that and posted a link to them, and now I'm watching Matlock.
Oh.
It's kind of addictive.
There's some really good episodes. There's some really not so good scripts, but he makes it worth it. Andy Griffith makes worth it watching the show because Matlock is a very interesting character. So yeah, it's definitely worth the time. If y'all would allow me a second, I want to follow up on something I think Liz mentioned on our last episode, or maybe in the episode before. I can't remember right now. But I want to do a follow up and pull out the soapbox. This is regarding Princess Kate.
Oh, right.
For those who need a kind of a refresher, she has been out of the public limelight since after Christmas.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of speculation on what's going on with her and all that. And then at one point, a very badly photoshopped picture had been sent to, of all people, the Associated Press, who turned around and said, "This is Photoshop. This is bad. It's horrible." So now, within the past several days, Kate has come out in a video saying that she has cancer. She had surgery in January, I believe, and is currently doing chemotherapy. She came out and was asking for privacy, and it's especially having a young family. We all get that. We've all dealt with cancer either personally or within the families or friends. We understand what they're going through. We understand them being scared. We understand them being stressed. We understand they're wanting some privacy while they deal with this, especially with young children. That being said, if they had just come out in January, said, "This is what's going on. We appreciate your well wishes and all of that, but we need our privacy," this shit would not have happened. If this was a decision by the royal family, or if this was a decision by an advisor or a PR person or staff or something like that, someone needs to be publicly flogged for this.
Big time.
That might still be legal in England
photos.
too. I'm not sure.
And it could be. But the thing is now the video come out, and now everybody's going. All the politicians are jumping on the media for keeping this going on. And it's just like, well, it once again, it would not have been an issue. And the thing that really puzzles me is, why were they keeping quiet about this when King Charles came out with his diagnosis?
As he walked out of the hospital. Yeah. I'm going to sound a little cold-hearted here, but when you're hired by the public, you have no private life. I'm sorry. You don't. People are like, "Oh, you need to get out of their life." Oh, no. They are monarch. They have put themselves in that position. You
So,
live your life for the people. You have no private life. And like you said, had they have just said, hey, she has cancer, let her deal with this and talk to her small children about it before you guys make a spectacle of it, it would have been respectfully handled. But when you start lying and put out 3 fake pictures and do nothing to stop the fanning of the flames, I mean,
Right.
I
You
don't
kind of
feel
get what you
bad
get
going
at that
down the
point.
conspiracy
yeah.
trail, you know?
Well, I mean, it's to the point that now, it's the cry wolf thing. It's like,
Hmm.
well, does she really have cancer? Is there something else going on?
I hate to say it's convenient. Cancer's never convenient. It's not. But
At
Charles
this,
was just diagnosed, and she
yeah,
was,
that's
and
that's exactly my point. Why
and see,
why
and
did
now we can't ask why the fake pictures because, oh, you're inconsiderate, and how dare you? She has cancer. You can't question her. Well, what the fuck? I mean, you know,
oh
you put out 3
we can
fake
question her.
pictures.
We can
Yeah.
question not all of them. Now they can not answer, which they more than likely will not. But it's just the whole thing is moronic.
Icky. Yeah.
And you know, it just it's like you brought up the comparison to Diana when you initially brought this up. It makes me wonder what is the issue with the royal family and the advisors and all that seeming to have issues handling the females that are not in the family. They're not born in the family. You got Diana, you've got Megan, you got
Megan.
Kate, Sarah to a certain extent.
But
She
they
didn't get it that much, but she did get
That's
some of it.
because she wasn't the bad guy in that relationship.
Well, that's
they
true.
seem
But anyway.
more protective over Kate though. Because
Until
now
now.
it's all, you better hush up. You're not being nice. But when people were laying into Meghan Markle, where were they? Where was the, you better be quiet, you better hush? Where was that then? Where was this energy then? When they were, making her feel bad for having a black baby, where was this energy then?
And now
You
you
know?
know why her and Harry said fuck this.
Yeah. And even when did you notice that during all of this, like I said, I'm sorry if she has cancer. I am. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. But oh my God, during this whole thing when conspiracy theories are flying and everything else, people were finding a way to blame Megan for it. It's Megan's fault Kate has cancer. It's Megan's fault they put a fake picture out. It's Megan's fault they lied to us. It's like, Jesus Christ, she's on the
She
other
has nothing to
side of
do
the
with the
freaking
family.
world.
Yeah, she has
And
nothing to do
she's
with the
still
family.
getting blamed.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, they're blaming her. But don't you dare talk about Kate. She deserves her privacy right now. Well, what the fuck about Megan? Doesn't she? She's a young mom, too. Where's the energy,
So
I think that's the
This,
thing.
it's so complicated and
it's
so ugly, honestly.
It
You
is.
don't want to know for sure.
But when
this
you're elected for the people, by the people, you have to answer to your people.
They're not elected.
And
they're not elected.
they're not elected, exactly. But they're there for the people. They support their lifestyles. So you do have to answer to your people. And like you said, had they have just come out, and not even Kate, but Charles, not only do I have cancer, my daughter-in-law has this now too, but it wouldn't have gotten crazy, And then they were like, wait for a public announcement. And then they waited 2 days to put out that she had cancer, just building it up the whole time. They knew what was going on. But in the meantime, why are they going to stop the lies and everything else? Because it was spinning back towards Megan, And then all of a sudden, when it came out that he was having an affair and Kate may be dead, all of a sudden it was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, she has cancer. Okay. But you were fine when they were hating on Megan. They are her cancer. You know?
Oh.
The thing is, Charles came down with cancer. That was devastating.
Mm-hmm.
About the same time, Kate came down with cancer. So to try to keep things in the right, they decided not to discuss Kate's cancer. The idea that Megan is at fault is a little ludicrous,
Very.
but
Yeah.
A little.
but she is despised by the British.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They do
She
not
is.
like that woman because she wants to run the country the way she wants to. The
She
British
wanted
don't
to
like
run the
that.
country so bad she ran from it. That's how
Yeah,
much she wanted it.
And
You
she
know?
gave you such brilliant television programming. That was
No,
some
I'm
of
not
it.
saying she's a great actress or anything.
She is a good actress.
Yeah. I don't know if sadly to say, I think the only thing I ever watched her on was that
Is the Oprah interview?
briefcase show.
Oh.
The God, what was that? Howie Mandel, and
Deal or No
they
Deal?
had money in the briefcase. Huh?
Deal or No Deal?
Deal or no deal.
Was it Deal or No Deal? I
That's-
wanted to say Deal or No Deal, but I was thinking that was the doors that opened up.
No, it's the
No,
briefcase.
that's Let's Make a Deal. Right.
Okay.
It's-
Yeah,
yeah.
it was Deal or No Deal. And I mean, she's cute. I know she was on Suits, but I haven't seen that. But it lasted a while, so she had to be decent, you know.
Well, I don't know whether she was decent or not. Was the reason why Suits was lasted as long as it did. I think they may have had to do with other things, but I see what you get. But it just, the whole thing still stinks.
It does.
Because at this point I don't trust them. I don't believe it. But then again, part of me is like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, if she has cancer, God love her. Wish her
the best.
Wish her the best. But I don't give a damn about any of them. So it's none of my. I've got enough shit on my plate as it is that I need to worry about this crap that's going on across the pond, where the British keep, as much as people.
British are coming. The British are coming. Yeah. Yes.
I got to tell you a story about that.
I wouldn't have cared about this story if the tea wouldn't have been so strong. That's whatever I'm like,
I say I don't care, but I brought it up, and I had to bring it up to point out the asinineness of this whole thing. It's just totally.
And you know, one other thing to think about. Supposedly, while she was battling cancer, they blamed her for editing a fake picture.
Mm-hmm.
On the woman who has cancer. They laid all the blame on her. So
once again, I bring up the whole thing is if you're a female but you're not born from you're a part of the family by marriage, there's something there's something. They don't completely bring you in and protect you and all that kind of stuff. It's just
Which is crazy because they had a queen.
But she was born into it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
About. They had a queen for so long, though. It seems like they should be a little bit more geared towards women and understanding it. You know.
And if she was queen, it would be a different story.
Yeah.
But
she was queen during the whole Meghan thing.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. before we get into this week's festivities, it had been pointed out earlier that we do have a Discord that's free for y'all to join. Discord is free to sign up, and the app is free on all the app stores. We do have an open invite on our homepage, www.thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. Post a lot of news items, stuff for discussions, stuff to laugh at, some music. Les just mentioned a while ago that he posted some videos. We'll do stuff like that. So we try to have some activities like a movie night or something like that. We're talking about doing something here real soon. So yeah, if you want to come hang out with us, then come join our Discord today.
Yep. We post some interesting stuff in there. If we do say so ourselves.
Okay. It is casting call time. If you're not familiar, we do this 6 times a year, every other month. I come up with something, either it's a movie or a TV show. We've done a movie serial. I think we did a radio program. We've done a couple of animated stuff. But I'll just come up with something, and then I'll put together a list of characters for us to cast. And I did something a little bit different this time. If you're a long-time listener, you know we're not exactly the biggest fans on remakes, but we're actually casting a remake here. But hey, we've been doing this for 2-3 years or something like that. This is our first remake, so I guess that gives you a point. This is just once in a blue moon type thing. And we are casting a quote-unquote modern version, modern as in 1989, of the sci-fi classic Forbidden Planet, which came out in 1956. This is the film that starred Walter Pidgeon, Leslie Nielsen, which Liz did not know that was Leslie Nielsen until...
Did not know.
She was talking to me about that, and she said she didn't realize that. I said, yeah, this is back during his good-looking leading actor dramatic phase, not well before Airplane.
And it was weird because I was looking up who Earl Holman was when I saw that the other guy was Leslie. It was like, what? No, it's not. Yeah, it was.
So this is the sci-fi film 1956 with Walter Pidgeon, Leslie Nielsen, and Francis. Errol Holloman was just mentioned, and of course Robbie the Robot. We can't live him out. Mm-hmm. So I thought with this, if you could expand the story a little bit, give some of the supporting characters a little bit more to do than just, hey, I'm here and I'm gone. And then this is not an offense, but have modern day special effects. The special effects for 1956 are impressive. Even to this day, they're still pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And we're talking 1956. So,
the invisible guy at the end caught in the gates, that was pretty cool. That was really cool.
Looking, yeah.
Yep. So with all that laid down, let's go ahead and start doing our casting call. Who would like to go first?
I can start us off.
Okay.
First guy who was the guy who they're trying to survive. I guess so. They're trying to rescue Dr. Edward Mobius. Now, to me, he was creepy. Even before it kind of came out what he is and everything else. To me, it was like I just get a creepy vibe from him. So 1989, creepy vibe. I had to go with Vincent Price. I think he would have captured that whole creep essence very, very well.
Okay.
And can be dramatic when he needs to be.
Okay.
It's hard to argue with that logic.
No.
It's hard to argue with that. He definitely did a lot of creepy in his career.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mikey, do you want to go ahead next?
Sure. I went with someone noticeably younger than Vincent Price. That would have been, Vincent Price would be fantastic, but man, was he old at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It seemed a stretch for him to have like an 18-year-old daughter. So I went with somebody who has done a lot of creepy in his career, but was quite a bit younger than Vincent Price. I went with Rutger Hauer.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yep. I like that.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Les.
I went creepy also, but I don't think that the character was creepy.
Creepy.
You think Walter Pigeon was
Because-
creepy?
Well, apparently Liz did.
Yeah, he was pretty creepy.
Yeah, don't watch
No.
Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea then.
Exactly. I went with Peter Cushing.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's done creepy. He's done some viable acting, as we've discussed before.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought Cushing would be the one to hit.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
I went a little younger. I didn't go with someone who was big of a name, or at that point, I didn't really think about a creep factor. I was thinking about more of a scientist who may be hiding information. There's something he's not being forthright about. Which
I think that
is
was
the
part of
character.
I think you can get a creepy feel from that too, though. I can see it.
Yeah.
I agree. I went with someone who, for me, the role is just a really secretive, and almost kind of guilty
Yeah.
vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that could come across as creepy though.
So
anyway.
I went with Victor Garber,
Oh wow, cool.
best known from Alias. He was also Professor Stein on Legends of Tomorrow.
Mhm.
I think he could do it big time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could too.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, next.
Okay, well, I didn't know she was 18, so mine casting on this next one may be a little off. Oops.
Well, believe me,
she
Anne
looks
Francis
young,
was
so.
not 18 at that time.
No,
Right.
but the story was the crash they had crashed there 20 years ago, and she was born on that planet.
Okay. I missed that detail, but it makes sense when you say that. But I just went with somebody who was pretty at the time, and that usually made guys act like idiots when she was around. And I went with Michelle Pfeiffer. But she would have been a little older.
Yes, she would have been a little older, and that's
Yeah.
why I didn't pick her. I
Yeah.
seriously considered it, and I was like, nah, she's just a little too old. I'm gonna go with somebody a bit younger.
She could play a young part, though.
Yes, she could. Like I said, I had started typing her name in on my list, and I decided to stop. So obviously, I agree with you that she could do it.
Yep.
100%.
And I always thought she was so pretty.
She still is.
She still is. Right.
Yeah,
40
she
years
still
on,
is,
she
yep.
still is. Or 30.
Yep.
A lot of years later. More than she cares to admit, I'm sure. More than
Right.
most
Go,
days.
go ahead and give us your pick so you can get out of this, Mike.
She was actually, yeah, she was the first name I came up with, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And I actually came up with another name that I chose that I will mention after everybody else is done on this one for a specific reason that we'll get to. The person I ended up choosing though was Heather Graham.
Okay.
This would have been really early in her career, but she would have been youngish. She would have been fairly young then, but still could have done it. She proved later on that she could definitely act, and I mean, I think in making this movie 30 years later, her character is probably a bit different, and I think it would have been fun to turn her loose on this.
Yep.
Yeah. She's like the young Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, Lord.
Honestly, the looks, the little apple cheeks and everything else, she could be her daughter.
She's like a slightly younger, slightly cuter version.
Mm-hmm.
Not prettier, but cuter.
And she made a lot of movies with the Coreys, so this would have fit perfect at the time for her career.
There you go.
Alrighty, Les.
I went very obscure. I went with Susie Quayo. Does anyone know who Susie Quayo is?
Sounds familiar,
No.
but not placing the face.
She was the ex of Sonny Bono.
The one he dumped Cher for, or this is post-Cher?
Cher dumped him.
Oh, she's pretty too.
Yep, that could work.
That could.
Yep.
And she has acted, so.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, you're just looking for a petite looker.
Yeah, because she didn't do a lot in this movie.
Well, it could be different with this version. So.
True.
For me, I also went with someone who was in the very early stages of her career. I remember her in an episode of Star Trek Next Generation. The episode called Games. This was the addictive games that got the crew all messed up.
Yeah, one of the ones starring Wesley.
Starring Wesley. Ashley Judd.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Nice choice.
Yep.
She's
She's a
pretty
good
good.
actress. Mm-hmm.
And this actually would have been right around that same time frame.
Yep.
When she first got started. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bummed.
I like it.
I'm a little bummed because the other person that I listed because I knew Les was going to pick her. But I didn't. So I didn't pick her because I knew Les was going to pick Jennifer Connelly for this. And I was wrong. Good job, Les.
That's
Proving me wrong. I love it.
That's a good choice.
This would have been the height of her
Yeah,
teen career,
it's a
too.
couple of years
Mhm.
after Labyrinth. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I looked at her because I pulled up movies from the 80s to kind of get my feel going.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years after Labyrinth and a couple of years before Rocketeer.
Yep. She
Yep.
would have been right in that age range.
Yep.
But I didn't pick her because I knew Les was going to, and I was wrong.
You
Bravo,
left Jay.
Les. Bravo. You outthought Mike.
Ta-da!
Okay. Next on the list.
All right. Next on our list is Commander John J. Adams, which, like we said before, this is Leslie Nielsen. I don't think I've seen him outside of Funny. So I think that's part of why I didn't connect him to this role. Plus, he was pretty good looking. So, you know. But to me, especially in this movie, he seemed to like command the attention. Not, I'm a pretty boy, look at me, but just, very, very solid in his acting. So I wanted someone who kind of matched that energy or who could match that energy.
Mhm.
And I almost went with Harrison Ford, but I thought, no, that's too clicky.
2 on the nose.
I went the other way.
2 on the nose.
Yep. So I went with the Harrison Ford from Wish, and I chose Michael Douglas.
Oh, wow. Huh. That's
Okay.
This
interesting.
would have been his romancing the stone days,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
but still
Yeah.
could add a little bit of, ha-ha if we needed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a really good choice.
I like that. I did
Mhm.
not think anywhere near that direction.
Yeah, I didn't think about him either. So,
Hmm.
who did you think about, Mike?
Well, I went with, because I was going young for Alta, I was going a little bit young for the Commander also. So I ended up going fairly young for nearly everybody else, with one significant exception. But so yeah, he's definitely definitely a strong presence, and so I went with someone who would be a little bit imposing, but also still a nice enough guy. I chose
Mhm.
Dylan McDermott.
Oh,
Ah, good choice.
yeah.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be too creepy for him to be running around with an 18-year-old, so, you know,
Yeah,
a little creepy, but not too creepy.
I forgot her age.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It was for some reason, I mean, it's funny that you forgot it, because it was very strong in my mind. Which is just,
Yeah.
we come at, that's what makes this fun, is that we come at it from different directions a lot.
Yep.
Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. We interpret things differently. That's fine.
Mhm.
That's what makes this good. That's what makes this interesting.
Yep.
Wasn't he in a movie with Jennifer Connelly where he played a thief? Frank Whaley was in it.
Maybe you're more familiar with Jennifer Connelly movies than I am.
Well, that's who I chose for this part, is Jennifer Connelly.
Wow.
No.
We're gender swapping.
Oh.
Who I did pick, and I was thinking of William Hurt at first,
Mhm.
but I went with Michael T. Weiss.
Nice. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. Yes, he would have been an interesting choice for this for sure. I like it.
And before I give my choice, keep in mind that whole gender swap thing. That may be coming up.
Cool.
Well, for my choice, I went with someone also kind of, well, I don't want to say young in his career, but I mean, because he was in a big movie a couple of years earlier that's still loved to this day. Gary Uhls,
What movie?
Princess Bride.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. I could see this. That could work.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Liz is trying to figure out who I'm talking about.
If you've not seen The Princess Bride, Liz, come on now.
If
that
it helps,
Tony Montana?
if it helps you,
What?
it's the doctor in Saw. Okay,
Okay.
the one that was chained up. I got
The
to do
dead guy in the first
It's
one.
Robin Hood in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Robin Hood. Yeah,
Ah.
We gotta
gotta
make
pull
her
it.
watch Princess Bride. My God.
I gotta pull horror out for her to understand things. It's unbelievable.
I got it right
Well,
away.
hey, at least you know the limitation. That's good.
Yep.
Knowing is half the battle.
There you go. G.I. Joe.
Hey, I couldn't sing earlier.
You shouldn't sing. That's different.
Right.
Yes.
And that's honestly mostly because you're still sick.
Yeah.
Do not do any more damage to your throat than you already do on a regular basis.
And you
No
did
telling
notice he
right
said
now.
mostly.
Mostly.
I totally said mostly.
He's hoping I missed it.
It's not unusual.
To be loved by anyone.
Exactly. Tom Jones.
Da-da-da-da-da. All right. Next on the list.
All right. Next guy on the list is Lieutenant Doc Ostro. Now, this guy, when I saw him in the movie, so this one's a total cosmetic pick. He kind of reminded me of Robert De Niro, younger, like Jackknife younger. And that's who I picked because it was,
You picked Jackknife?
well, not the way he looked in Jackknife. What year was Jackknife? Kind of like his taxi cab days. Oh, Jackknife was 89. So,
There
yeah,
you go.
like Jackknife.
Man, you had much higher budget than I did.
Yeah. See, my story's going to suck because the actors I picked. It will suffer somewhere.
Not necessarily. I mean, the thing is based on a freaking Shakespeare play, so I don't think you have much to worry about. I mean, yes, you could blow the screenplay for sure, but you're starting off pretty good.
Oh, I've still got some heavy hitters coming.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that.
Alrighty, Mikey.
She's got more heavy hitters than De Niro. I did not think about De Niro for this, but I was thinking about some other people who were active in that time frame, and so for Doc, who I thought was kind of a fun character along the way, I chose James Denton to kind of throw back to Les's Michael T. Weiss choice.
Okay.
He was also in The Pretender.
Okay.
He was Mr. Lyle. And he also spent the entire run of Desperate Housewives on Desperate Housewives. So he's done some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nice choice.
Yep.
That is. Yep.
Okay, Les.
Doc.
I
went with Kevin Kline.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
That guy.
That guy. I know that guy.
He was the guy that was in that film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fish Called Wanda. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking Dave, but that'll work as well.
I like the comic version better. But anyway.
All right. I mentioned it earlier. I went female with Doc. I kind of wanted to change things up a little bit instead of it being all white male.
Oh yeah.
For the crew. So I definitely went out there and went with Julianne Moore.
Ah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yep.
A couple of years before
I like
Hannibal.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights.
Mm-hmm.
Big Lebowski.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fresh out of Julianne Moore movie references at this point, but anyway.
That's okay.
She's really good, though.
She is really. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's got quite a few under her belt.
Mm.
All right, next.
All right. I was lost on this guy. Didn't he die like fairly early on?
Yeah, actually he did.
Chief
Maybe
Quinn.
his career did.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no, he went on to
he
build an
didn't fight
android, man.
invisible monsters too well. Yeah, I thought, wasn't he like the first one where they said he was splattered all over the command room?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of the first.
So he was a younger guy. So I had to go younger than Michael Douglas and Robert De Niro. I may not have. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
But I went with Sylvester Stallone. Stella!
What?
Adrian!
Was it that line?
Adrian.
Adrian. Yeah, that's right.
Stella's
Adrian.
Brando.
Stella was Brando in A Streetcar Named Desire. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Holy cow.
I'm still medicated, okay?
Yeah, we're just jerking your chain. I am, anyway.
Now she's blaming on medicine.
Now it's time to talk about the Nyquil
Blaming the
dreams.
drugs.
Mhm. Sure.
Just remember this in a couple of weeks.
But yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
He can do stuff.
That was my pick. This would have been after his Rambo days, so.
Right. I mean, yeah, he's a couple of years off of Demolition Man at this point.
Yeah.
You want to go to Taco Bell? Anyway. Mike!
Okay, so yeah, this was kind of the engineer guy. And I have to admit, I had a stupid reason initially for picking who I picked, but it's one of those where I had a dumb reason and I looked at it and I was like, no, wait, he'd actually be really freaking good at this.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a role that he would fit into beautifully,
Mm-hmm.
partly because of stuff he had already done. I chose Richard Dean Anderson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because who else would you want running your spaceship than MacGyver? I mean, come on.
With a paperclip and rubber band.
Right.
There you go.
I mean, and that was this guy's job. He was piecing things together he was trying to rebuild the radio, and he was trying to get all the defensive stuff going. He was the guy who was building stuff. Why not, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Works for me. Okay, Les.
I'm still trying to get over Richard Dean Anderson.
He's shedding a tear.
He is.
I'm going to go to play Chief Quinn. Let's go with James Garner.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's pretty good.
Yeah. That's an interesting choice. I like that.
I like that.
All right. For me, I went with someone a little bit younger. We would actually see him the following year in The Hunt for Red October as the radar guy. I went with Courtney B. Vance.
Oh, cool.
Like I said, I'm trying to diversify the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's pretty good.
He's a good actor. Yes, he's a very good actor.
Yep.
Okay, next.
Okay. The next guy we have is the cook. I liked him. He was probably my favorite in this movie, which of course was Earl Holliman. I was thinking maybe I should leave him in here and kind of be like an Easter egg from the first movie, and I was like, nah, I'll go ahead and pick someone else because he still would have been around for this. But instead, I went with a younger guy who probably would be shoved off in a kitchen as, kind of the hazing of a new space crew. And I went with Matt Dillon, who would have been the, bad boy of the 80s.
He kind of was.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, just look at My Bodyguard.
Yeah.
I was about to mention My
Or
Bodyguard.
Outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the it boy of the 80s. So,
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
yep.
Interesting take.
it's a very interesting take. Yep. Les? Oh, no, Mike. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to go.
Okay.
Can I go?
You go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
You know where the bathroom is better than I do, so go ahead and go.
Sure enough. No, it's okay. I already went. Dirty, rotten scoundrels. But anyway, so I did not decide that the cook should be a bad boy. Well, I mean, I guess sort of in a way, but not in the
He
same
was
way.
bad.
Not in the same way Liz did. Right. I definitely latched onto the comic relief aspect. I don't know if I picked somebody younger, but I definitely picked somebody funny as hell. I went with Rodney Dangerfield.
Because
Because if you're going to do comic relief, let's just fucking go for it.
Yeah.
And he
No
was
respect.
at his peak.
No respect.
He was at his peak in 89.
Yeah.
He was. That would have been pretty cool.
Now, Les, it's your turn.
Okay. I went with Eddie Murphy
Okay.
because I
I
can
like
see
that
him
one too.
trying to convince the robot to make all the booze.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
His Trading Places character would have been perfect for that.
True.
Billy Ray Valentine.
Yeah,
And, this was right around his swing too, with the toy and Trading Places, and
He
Well,
was
the
not
toy-
in
I
the
could
toy.
see that.
the toy was
Okay.
Richard Pryor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, you're right.
That's two. That's
Dude,
two.
I know. Oh my God.
Oh, also, just for the record, the toy was a terrible movie. But anyway,
Yes.
I loved the
terrible.
toy.
Believe me, I know because at one point we had it in our house not long after when it was on cable, we had taped it, and that tape got stuck in the VCR, so it was the only movie we watched for about 3 months.
You poor devil.
It's
Funny.
terrible. I hate, as much as I hate to say that a movie with Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason is
Jackie
terrible,
Gleason, yes.
it's fucking terrible.
I loved him in that one.
And the boy who was on in A Christmas Story got his tongue stick to the flagpole.
Uh-huh.
Masturbates? Here's Jack. Jack masturbates. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the high point of the comedy.
That's one of the funnier lines in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Yeah, I did go for the comic relief as well. Kind of went a little differently. John Leguizamo.
Oh, man, I
like
forgot
that
he was
too.
still around back. I forgot he was
Yes.
around that at that point. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally. He would have fit this role perfectly.
Oh, yeah. All right. One role left to cast. What you got, Liz?
All right. Now, see, here's where I went with the comedy relief to kind of play it off with the cook.
Cool.
Now, to me, I couldn't think of a lot of voice actors in '89. I know we had like Frank Oz and Mel Blanc, but that would have been a little too on the nose. And then for some reason, Inspector Gadget popped into my head, so I decided to go with Don Adams with his Inspector Gadget voice.
All right. I'm down. I'm down. I could live with
I think
that.
he would have been great.
Oh yeah.
It would have been fun, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay,
Give him a
Mike.
little personality.
So I kind of initially thought in the same vein that Liz did. Who were kind of the big voice actors in that time frame? And I ended up kind of, I don't know, maybe I outthought myself on this one. I'm not sure, but I went with a guy who has been doing it forever and is actually still doing it. I picked Frank Welker.
Hard to go against that. Frank's good.
The brain.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of voices.
He did
Yep.
a
A
lot
lot
of
of voices. A lot of memorizable. Yeah. Yeah.
Memorable.
Memorable. There you go.
Okay, Les, your turn.
Don't let him make fun of you, Liz.
Hey,
Too
and
late.
he was on Inspector Gadget too, just saying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. He was on everything from like 1974 to the
Everything.
present day. I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Hard to go wrong.
I had two choices here, too. One was Alan Rickman,
Ah,
I
yeah.
like that. I like
who
that.
already done.
Wisecracking robot.
Well, he
Or, no.
had done. What was the sci-fi program?
You have to be a little more specific than that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Hitchhiker's Guide. He did the robot on Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yes, he did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The newer one.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I'm going to choose someone you folks have probably never heard of, and that is Martin Miller. Martin Miller was an actor on a television series called The Millionaire. He played the part of the emissary of J. Bursford Tipton, the millionaire. The premise was $1 million was given to somebody, and they had to prove themselves worthy. And this is in a half hour. But Miller had such a distinctive voice.
You say Miller or Milner?
No.
Miller.
It's
Not Milner.
Milner's Adam 12. That's a different
That's
guy.
what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also in Children of the Damned, the original version.
Yeah.
The third Man TV series. It was also in the Avengers. He's done quite a bit. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely need to check out his voice. I went with someone who at this point had only done TV work, but I love his voice. And I imagine seeing Robbie and then hearing this voice come out of it and go, holy crap. Hugo Weaving.
Okay.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah. I do too. Very cool.
Some very interesting casts there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I say this every time we do one of these. It's always interesting to see where we go with these characters and what our mind kind of goes to and thinks, well, this person would be a really good choice. It's always kind of interesting to hear that.
Yep.
I do have one more.
Oh, you do?
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
You cast
Lieutenant
Tiger, didn't
Farman.
Do what?
you? Lieutenant Farman. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was played by Jack Kelly. He was kind of a guard. He was like the head of the guards. He was also a ladies' man.
Right. He was the first one to put the moves on Alta.
Right.
So for him, I could see, if I want to go serious, I'd go with Kevin Costner.
Okay.
And for humor, I would go for Dan Aykroyd.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
But that's it for me.
Cool.
Fred Garvin, male prostitute.
Oh God.
To have him do it in that voice. Not actually say the name or anything, but just to do that voice for that would be fucking hilarious. Nobody with me on that one at all. Okay, fine. No problem.
Just let him twist in the wind.
Yep, I'm a twisting.
Well, you did it too. So I mean, all right. That
Cool.
was fun.
That was
and
fun.
we got another one coming up here in another few weeks.
Woo.
Yoo-hoo.
Huzzah.
Any final thoughts before we take a break?
If you haven't seen the original,
I just have
go
one.
see it.
About the movie.
It's on Tubi.
Yep.
What?
I didn't get that whenever this thing is attacking their camp, why did they feel like they had to move closer to it? Your guns were firing from back there. Why did you think getting closer to this thing you can't see would make any kind of difference at all? After watching two guys get killed by it. I mean, that was the main part of the movie. It was like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Yeah, and this is coming from the person who watches all the horror films too. So
Yeah.
hey,
I scream at them too.
People are missing, so let's go look for them.
I mean,
Let's go down to the dark basement. There can't be anything wrong down there.
For me, the obvious answer, and it's I'm not saying it's a good answer, but it's the quickest answer to pop into my head is, I mean, the whole purpose is they're trying to drive the thing back. Admittedly, they do not have the manpower to do what they're obviously trying to do, which is look like they're trying to push the thing back, but that's the only thing I can think of is they're actively trying to drive it away. And so you run up towards it and flex and look cool and shoot it more.
Well,
and do all
after
the
watching
things.
the other two get ate, I would have been like, nah, I'm good back here.
Oh, me too. Me too. I'm
Behind
not
these
saying it was
big
smart.
things shooting 20 things at them.
I am not saying it was a smart move, but it's actually kind of a dumb move, but
Yeah.
you know,
Lord knows what experience these soldiers had.
People do dumb things in 1956, you know, especially when they're pretending it's 22, whatever the hell they said it was at the beginning. I forget.
Right.
Hey, at least it wasn't like 1977 or something, you know.
Right.
They were being semi-realistic.
Was it not the id that they were fighting?
It was the
Yeah.
id. But they didn't know that at the time.
They didn't know.
I liked the movie.
Good.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
It is. It's definitely one to check out. For early sci-fi, I think they nailed it pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And like y'all
Absolutely.
said, the special effects were pretty awesome,
Yep, this was a relatively big budget sci-fi film for the time too.
Well,
Yeah.
considering the competition out there at the time was pretty much giant insects or the Thing was only what 2-3 years, a couple of years earlier,
Yeah.
2-3 years
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that was good
this
too.
is the era of atomic horror.
Right.
I mean, this is Godzilla is a thing at this point.
Right. So
See, and I think that's why I liked it, is they didn't go cheesy.
Yeah.
I know
No, they were
Invisible
very serious
Monsters
about it,
doesn't
yeah.
sound cheesy, but, yeah. Because sometimes with older sci-fi like that, it's kind of like, really?
Yeah.
Giant
Very much
bugs.
so.
Yeah. But I thought this one, like I said, I think they nailed it pretty good.
Yep.
Well, someone's running away.
Welcome to the racetrack, folks.
Mhm.
And here they come.
They're making a
And they're
left
off.
turn.
And Albert
No,
did.
the other left.
And on that note, we are going to take a quick break and be back with Geek News for You. And we're back, and it's time for Geek News for You. In this segment, we bring a couple of news items to the table for discussion. It is Mikey and myself this week. Mike, would you like to go ahead and go first?
Oh, sure. And I'm going to talk about the very, very large elephant in the world.
Dumbo! Yay!
And I say that because unless you've been living under a rock recently, if you're anywhere near the path, you know about this. So April 8th we're going to have a full solar eclipse, and I don't know about y'all, but where we are, we're going to be right on the line. So we will get to watch it live. If you can't, the deal is that the article that was posted was stating that ABC News and Nat Geo are hosting a TV special that afternoon, a live thing. So that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're anywhere in the swath that runs from Maine down through Texas, Central Texas, and Mexico, you probably already heard. But yeah, I mean, I believe I heard that the next one that's going to be like this is going to be something like 200 years from now. So,
Wow.
this is kind of to call it once in
Big
a
deal.
lifetime. I made the joke to my kid that I'd just wait for the next one, but he didn't think that was funny. But scientifically speaking, so fits right into the geek thing. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Please don't do anything stupid, like trying to watch it without actual, real, legitimate eye protection, because holy shit, you will go blind.
Yeah.
And not
And
in the
actually-
jerking off sense.
Amazon has them pretty cheap right now. I'm surprised they haven't upped the prices on that stuff, but
Yeah, if it's too cheap, be careful. But the deal is, to test them out, you go inside your house and you turn on like your brightest light, and you put these glasses on, and you should really barely only be able to tell that there's light on.
yeah.
If
And of course, all of them have the UL stamp and the numbers on them to make sure they've been tested.
Some of the fakes have it too. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, be careful
Yep.
if you're going to go look at it. I, for one, am not really all that into outside, so I'm likely to watch it on TV. But it's a cool thing, and it'll be fun to see how dark it gets if you're in the path.
Do you know what else April 8th is?
The day after April 7th?
There you go.
Monday, I believe.
It is Leanne's 5th birthday. 5th
Ooh,
birthday. Yep.
5th birthday.
Yep.
What are we dressing up as?
Pink.
A potato.
Anything pink and she'll be happy.
There you go.
Uh,
Cool.
but one thing I don't understand about the eclipse.
One thing.
Now, I have a farm, which they have said is excellent viewing for this also. And they have sent us notices, watch your property. We're going to have a lot of people in town and blah, 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 blah. Cool. I get it. That's why Texans carry guns. But hey, I get it. Stay off my property. But the other thing I don't understand is all of the news agencies going crazy about our electric grid. Okay, we lost power once,
I
guys.
saw something about the cell phone grid too, and I'm like, now, admittedly, solar flares can mess things up somewhat, but this is not a solar flare.
Right.
This is the moon passing in front of the sun.
And this has happened before.
It happens
but they're like,
all the time.
We'll see an influx because of all of these people. Aren't they going to be outside?
Hopefully.
I mean, it's not like the event is happening indoors. It's outside where they're not using the electricity or anything.
Right.
So
I mean, it's not like the temperature of the Earth is going to drop 50 degrees. It's just, I mean, it's going to get like
4 minutes.
Dusk-like for a few minutes. Right. It's not really going to be that big a deal. But yeah, people are weird.
Jesus, people.
These are the same people that bought all the toilet paper when the pandemic started. I mean, come on.
Right.
They're all
and
nuts.
it's like, this is,
people are
this
horrible.
isn't, Night of the Comet.
Oh, but it might be.
It might be. Oh, you should see the conspiracy theories. I mean, as a science geek, I have to laugh.
Right. Because
like,
although laughing at
God.
human stupidity is kind of painful.
Yeah. It's the end of the world.
Yes.
And it's like, we had a total eclipse. What was it, 5 or 6 years ago? Because I watched it with Ella. We were fine. Nobody cared about the grid.
Right.
We survived. It was cool. But it's like, golly, people. We're going to be fine.
Friggin' get a grip. God.
Everybody's coming to Texas. Well, haven't they been for the last couple of years anyways? I mean, we're going to be okay.
There's an upside is that some of them will go home. I mean, shit.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully.
I'm not saying all of them.
But yeah.
But some of them.
I am very excited about this. So, especially, like I said, it lining up on her birthday. It was just like,
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. So for her birthday, you're going to hide the sun.
Yep. I already told her I'm blotting it out just for her.
Only for a couple of minutes, though, because you don't want people to go crazy.
Right.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
But yeah, we've been talking about it and, getting her adjusted to her little glasses and everything. So.
Cool.
Should be pretty cool. And definitely she will remember it for all of her life, Yep.
Okay. For me, I've got a pretty good feel-good story here. This year marks the 40th anniversary of the film Footloose, which blew up and made Kevin Bacon a star.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Well, there was that too. But the film, most of the film was filmed at Payson High School in Utah, and they're very proud of the fact that the film was that they did filming there. The locker that he used in one of the scenes is actually made up as a tribute to him. I mean, there's nothing, you open it up and there's nothing but Kevin Bacon and all that. There's pictures all over the hall and that kind of stuff. Well, this year also marks the final year Payson High School is going to be at the location that it is right now. So next year it's actually being moved to a different location. So what the students had decided to do, they started up a campaign, even going so far to have a hashtag, Bacon to Payson. They've gone and recreated some of the scenes and did other things to get the attention of Kevin Bacon in hopes of that he would come to their prom, which they would turn into a Footloose event, which all proceeds will go to his charity, 6 Degrees. This has blown up to the point where it started making national news. Even there was even a live remote at from the Today Show at the school. They showed the news item and all that. And after that was done, they came back and received a visit from Kevin Bacon from on site of his location in Atlanta, Georgia. And he talked about how much he loves the film, and he really appreciates everything they've done, especially the what they're doing for his charity and all that. And says, "Yes, I will be at your prom next month."
Nice.
Aww.
So he's gonna show up for their final prom at that location.
Nice. Good on him.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. Told you it was a heartwarming story.
Aw.
Aw.
We had to end on a high note. Jeez.
Yeah.
That just busts us there.
But in a good way.
All right. Any special mentions or shout-outs this week?
Not me.
No.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just move on to our regular shout-outs. First off, we want to thank Pop Goes to Culture for allowing us to be part of a great group of fellow podcasts in a podcast network. Definitely check them out. There'll be a link in our show notes. Also want to thank the fine men and women who make up Modern Family, have been kind enough to spread the word of fellowship by retweeting our links. Best way to check them out is to go to Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it and do a search, hashtag Modern Family, all one word. Just scroll through whatever catches your attention. Click on those links and download the episodes, and we hope you have a great time listening to them. We also want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying the music to our podcast. In our show notes, there will be a link where you can check out some of their other work. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We value your feedback. Any comments, questions, suggestions, complaints, observations, what have you, please send them our way. Email address is email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net, or you can go to the website, go to the About Us page. There is a contact form that you can fill out there. I already mentioned that we have a Discord. If you join our Discord, we do have a section specifically for feedback. You can post your thoughts there. On social media, we're on Facebook, the Fellowship of the Geeks. On Instagram and Twitter, we're at Fellowship Geeks. If you'd like to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_Geek. Les may or may not be found at Fake Les Webster. And I can be found at Tom TC Geek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you'd be so kind as to rate and review the show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate your support as always. Until next time, Geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,